Let's talk. Let's talk universal secondary education with Gina, Jodian, and yours truly, Brittany. Let's talk about what universal secondary education is all about, the historical and current perspectives, its strengths and weaknesses, a reflection on how it has affected schools, and problem-solving skills to suggest ways teachers or schools can mitigate the negative impact of universal secondary education. Help me to welcome our solution sister, Gina, as she tells us what it is all about and discuss the historical and current perspectives. Gina?
Thank you, Brittany. Universal secondary education has been long sought after by various governments in St. Lucia. At different points, efforts have been made by the Ministry of Education to ensure that all students between the ages of 5 and 15 receive a quality education. Universal secondary education became fully implemented in the school year 2006 to 2007. In this presentation, we will focus specifically on the transition from primary school to secondary school. In this case, universal secondary education seeks to ensure that each child leaving primary school finds a place at a secondary school without discrimination. The Department of Education, Innovation, Science, Technology, and Vocational Training of St. Lucia deems that the universal secondary education policy is the one that aims to provide all children with access to quality education from early childhood through secondary school. This policy also seeks to create an inclusive education system that meets the needs of all students and teachers. In St. Lucia, there was the prevailing idea among students that they did not need to be too concerned about their performance at their primary school leaving exam, the common entrance exam, because they would make it to a secondary school regardless, as indicated by a sample conversation between a mother and child in a speech by Dr. Kenny Anthony called A Place for Every Child in April of 2006. An article in the Caribbean Educational Research Journal discusses perspectives of universal secondary education in Grenada. Teachers and the principals identified that apart from secondary school places, special needs programs needed to be implemented at both the primary and secondary school level to address an increased number of students lacking basic skills for successfully engaging in the secondary education level. Teachers felt ill equipped to attend to students' needs and hence experienced a fall of standards in teaching and learning that the universal secondary education policy was blamed for. The same article identified that universal secondary education was implemented among the OECS islands. It is therefore fair to assume that because of a similar culture, the same effects were had among the islands.
To identify the strengths and weaknesses of universal secondary education and the impact of how it has affected schools in general is yours truly, Brittany. What are the strengths of universal secondary education? 1. Increased access. This policy has significantly increased the number of students who can attend secondary school, promoting educational equity. I know our focus is on St. Lucia. However, in my home country, Dominica, the implementation happened around the same time. I recall as a student at the primary level, classes before hours, you could see the despair on students' faces when they did not make the cut. So, classes of 50 students, probably in most cases, not even half, most times 20 students get the opportunity to go to high school. In my final year of the primary level, this policy was introduced in my country. My class had 44 students, and each and every one of us got the opportunity to attend secondary school, regardless of our family's socioeconomic status, regardless of how well we did at the common entrance exams. We all got the opportunity, and because of that, the high school or the secondary school in our catchment area had an influx of students, first time ever. You could see the joy on some of my classmates' faces, knowing that, I didn't have to worry whether my family could, afford. I didn't have to be discriminated against because I did not get all A's. I had the opportunity to attend secondary school. And because of increased access, what we had was social mobility. So, by providing access to education, the policy basically supported social mobility and it helped break the cycle of poverty for many families. And last but certainly not least, the policy encouraged a more diverse student body at the secondary level, which enhanced peer learning and social cohesion. I recall meeting up with other students at the first form level from all walks of life, those with disabilities, those without, and it was so interesting getting to meet everybody and learning about everybody. Now, I will touch briefly on the weaknesses of universal secondary education. And some of the weaknesses that we observed is quality concerns. So, the rapid increase in student enrollment has led to overcrowded classrooms. That's a fact. And strained resources, which can negatively impact the quality of education. Because never before schools were accommodating so many students at once. Again, I'm gonna draw reference to my year when I left primary school, entering to secondary school, because there was my school. The secondary school in our catchment area actually has to accommodate a lot of students from different hamlets. From my primary school, 44 were coming in alone, and there were other students from other catchment areas that had to come to that secondary school. Never before the school had that issue. And so they had to be creating more classrooms to accommodate us. So there were overcrowded classrooms, lack of space, strained resources, teachers were spread thin. So that kind of impacted the quality of education. Again, teacher preparedness. Many teachers may not be adequately trained to handle diverse needs of a larger and more varied student population, leading to challenges in classroom management, which is true. I was a witness to that, especially the students who are already not um, at a level ready, secondary level. They have not reached a level of competence. They were frustrated. Universal secondary education has significant effects, both positive and negative, on teaching and learning, as well as broader impacts on students and the society. Positive effects on teaching and learning. 1. Increased access to education. Broader enrollment. More students can attend a secondary school, which enhances diversity in the classroom. 2. Enhanced teaching methods. Professional development. Teachers may receive training focused on modern pedagogical techniques and inclusive education. Also, technology integration. Increased funding often leads to better access to educational technology, enriching the learning experience. Positive effects on students. 1. Academic achievement. Higher graduation rates. With universal access, more students complete secondary education, and 2. Improved literacy and numeracy. Positive effects on society. 1. Economic growth. Workforce development. A more educated workforce can lead to increased productivity and innovation. 2. Reduced poverty. Education is linked to higher earning potential, which can help break the cycle of poverty. Also, social equity. Reduction in inequality. Universal education can level the playing field, offering opportunities to marginalized groups. Long-term societal change. Cultural shifts. Education can change societal norms and values, promoting equality and reducing discrimination. While universal secondary education has many benefits, it also presents several challenges and potential negative effects on teaching, learning, students, and society. Negative effects on students. 1. Increased pressure and stress. Academic pressure. Higher expectations can lead to stress and anxiety among students, impacting mental well-being. 2. Dropout rates. Students who struggle academically or feel disconnected from the curriculum may be more likely to drop out, particularly if they do not see relevance in their education. 3. Social issues. Larger student bodies can increase the incidence of bullying and social isolation, affecting mental health. Negative effects on teaching and learning. 1. Resource strain. Overcrowded classrooms. Increased enrollment can lead to overcrowding, diminishing the quality of education and individual attention for students. Also, insufficient resources. Schools may struggle with inadequate funding for materials, infrastructure, and support services. 2. Varied standards. Rapid expansion can lead to inconsistencies in educational quality, with some schools offering subpar education. 3. Curriculum challenges. One-size-fits-all approach. Standardized curricula may not meet the diverse needs of students, stifling creativity and critical thinking. Also, neglect of vocational training. Negative effects on society. 1. Economic burden. There will be an increase of public spending. Expanding secondary education may strain public budgets, diverting funds from other critical areas like healthcare or infrastructure. 2. Unemployment and underemployment. There will be a surplus of graduates. An oversupply of graduates without corresponding job opportunities can lead to disillusionment and economic stagnation. 3. Social fragmentation. Cultural tensions. Diverse classrooms may lead to cultural clashes if not managed properly, creating an environment of conflict rather than inclusion. To speak on problem-solving skills that teachers or schools can use or employ to mitigate the negative impact of universal secondary education is
Thank you very
Julianne.
much, Brittany. So I will be focusing on the different strategies schools and teachers can use to mitigate the negative impacts of the universal secondary education policy. So the first one we'll be looking at is improving the quality of teachers in the profession through professional development training sessions, which focus on effective teaching methods, student-centered learning, and classroom management. To improve the quality of teachers, schools could also use a robust evaluation system where they will focus on the strengths of the teacher and the areas of weaknesses that could use improvement. The support of disadvantaged students can also be a strategy considered by having targeted interventions. Now, this can be done through supported programs such as mentorship, tutoring, and scholarships being granted to students who face socioeconomic challenges. Schools could also help the disadvantaged students by investing in a high quality education for them at a very young age to ensure that they are ready for secondary education. The final strategy we will focus on is the involvement of the community. Now, this can be done by schools encouraging parents to participate in school activities and have an open communication with teachers. They can also be encouraged to be active in their child's or children's education. Schools can also raise awareness on the importance of having a secondary education and look at ways in which they can address the social barriers that may hinder students from accessing a secondary education. Schools can seek partnerships with different businesses, local businesses and organizations to secure sponsorships of teaching materials, technology that can enhance the learning environment.